welcome to another episode of Nightcap with Nakia. Hey, Nightcap with Nakia. Hey. So we are having another episode, and I am so excited to be with you on this evening. I am your host, Nakia L. Roberson.
Please note that the psychoeducational content provided is only for informational and educational purposes. This does not constitute a form of therapeutic advice or counseling. If you require personalized therapeutic or counseling interventions, it is recommended that you seek the services of a licensed mental health provider.
We have live studio audience today. Let them hear you guys. In the building. And we have Nichelle and Shawn Jones. Marriage is, I always tell my clients, is intentional work, right? And so to be together for that long, I think that deserves some claps. Sometimes people don't make it after three months. But all right, come on. I'm sorry. Eventually, in the relationship, there was a discovery that there were some things going on with health. Talk to me about that. Who is the? Just tell me your story.
Well, when I met her, we was dating, and so I had told her I got sick with it. She was like, "What's that?" I explained it to her, and this kind of flew over her head. She didn't understand what it was until she seen me one time in a crisis. So she seen me laid up, couldn't move, and she was like. And I asked her, "Hey, you want check out, you want to leave?" Because only people who get with people with illnesses, they don't tend to last that long.
Yeah.
They be like, "Oh no, I can't deal with this. We young, we was young, I don't want to deal with it." So she stood there and learned what to do, how to care for me. And I was like, okay. I had to look. Okay, she's a real one. Because normally, I dated a couple people, drop me off by the hospital and leave. I had to call my mom to come get me. So, but she was like, I'm learning this. Mama taught her what to do. My mom taught her what to do. She went to the hospital. She go to Dr. B every 6 months. I gotta go to the doctor. And so, after that, I was like, man, she the one. She the one. And so,
Shawn, can you explain to the listeners just briefly what sickle cell is?
Sickle cell is a blood disorder where your blood cells sickle. From time to time, cause a pain crisis anywhere, legs, arm, head, feet, and so it's just any day I can go into a crisis. Like right now, it's so hot, I gotta stay hydrated, even when I'm at work.
Yeah.
So I won't end up in the hospital.
Yeah. So Nichelle, one of the things that he said about going into a crisis.
Yes.
What does that look like for you? So he explained to us a little bit about him not being able to move, but on the outside looking in, right? Well, like
so when I first discovered that he had sickle cell, I'm gonna research Google, kind of see what it is, and I kind of just they give you just like a surface, kind of he'll be hurting. So, but when he has pain crisis, it's like debilitating pain. He can't move, he can't walk. So it basically disrupts whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
So it's just I've learned and being married, just hospital visits. People go to hospital visits a lot. When I first found out, it was actually funny because we were talking, dating, and then all of a sudden he ghosted. I was like, "Where you go? Hello?" Like, hey. So he ghosted me, and I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just gonna, and then he was like, hey, he popped back up, and I was like, what is going on? Like, you just can't not talk to me for a week and then pop back like, hey girl, and I was like, that's not gonna work for me.
Yeah.
So after a few whiles, they brought to my attention, well, he has sickle cell, so sometimes, like, he can't, he's in the hospital for days, or he's in a bed for days and weeks at a time. So it was like, okay, like, it's not another girl. It's actually something that you have going on that I have to be again, compassionate about and learn about. So it's just seeing him, you always feel for like, I can't do nothing. Like I can't, you're in pain. I literally can't take you out of this pain. So that is the most challenging part, is because as your spouse, my husband, I want to do whatever I can to help you.
Yeah.
But this is something like, in a sense, he has to go through by himself. He's in that pain. Like I can't compare apples and oranges to pain because I'm not in that pain.
Yeah. So
I just have to be there supportive. I have to be there, take care of him, to basically advocate for him. So that's my biggest thing, is just being that advocate when he can't speak for himself, when he can't, go to work, or when he can't, take care of the girls, or he's having that's my role to step in and advocate for him. Whether we're in the hospital, whether we're at home, is just try to be that advocate for him.
Yeah. Can you talk to us a little bit more about the advocating? Because I know you guys personally, I know that there was one particular time to where it was like life-threatening.
Yeah.
And had you not stepped in, he may not be sitting here with you today. So talk to us about that.
September 2021, still going, pandemic still going on. I was at work, left work, I felt fine. Then I felt this pain in my stomach. Like, man, thought it was normal pain, sick, food poison, food bug. And my spleen erupted.
Yeah.
And I ain't know it. It was the hardest 3 weeks of my life, because when they took it out, I bled to the point where my organs started shutting down. And so, my thing was, I got a family, I got 4 girls. I ain't even seen one of my daughters. She don't even really know me, because she only was 2. And it was like, Lord, I can't leave like this. Because doctors, I heard, even though I wasn't conscious, I still heard them saying, he dying.
So and
I felt the pulling and tugging on my body. They was trying to patch the holes up that they put in me, because I was just, blood was everywhere. Because it's a point where I can't stop bleeding on my own like everybody else. Like, you cut your finger, you stop bleeding instantly. I don't, my blood don't, my body don't do that. It still bleed from bleeding. I gotta wrap it up and do something else extra. But it was the hardest 3 weeks, because I gave up. She came in advocating, you can't give up. You got people to live for. You gotta watch these girls walk down the aisle, graduate, and whatever. And I'm sitting there listening to her. I'm not conscious. I'm hearing everything going on. Yeah. And that's the hardest thing, because I'm thinking, I'm talking back to her, hey, I'm all right, I'm gonna be all right, but I'm sleeping. They got me sleeping, because they trying to fix all this stuff. Yeah. So her part is, she come in was like, you're not poking him no more. You stop doing that. No, he don't need that. He needs a blood transfusion.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with the medical, right during that time is, COVID and, pandemic, and we're still trying to kind of get over that. So they're telling me, you need to prepare. You need to get his family here. He is not going to make it. He is, he was in a crisis. His spleen erupted. Prepare everyone. He is not. His kidneys are shutting down. His body is basically shutting down. He is going to.
On top of that, I developed pneumonia, so they had to put this mask on me. So I really couldn't talk to him. It was basically, the machine was breathing for me, because I was breathing on my own.
Yeah. So he wasn't breathing. He wasn't talking. He was losing blood. They were, taking blood out every 30 minutes because he was filling up a bag of blood. Internal bleeding. So he was just, so I'm sitting there just watching this, because he's in the bed. I can't, do anything, but I'm just trying to motivate him, because I'm like, I know God, and I trust God, and I know that he is going to be here. And I just was telling him, you need
to wake up.
You need to get it together. Mm-hmm. You need to wake up. You need, there's things that we have to do. I want to grow old with you. I want to sit on the porch and, you know, that is like,
In a rocking chair.
you promised me this. Like, you
She
promised
basically
me
saying
this.
that, though.
So I need
Yeah.
to fight because I'm not, you know, I can only speak from here, but you know your body. I need you to come back to me, come back to us, come back to the girls. And the doctors are like, well, you know, his kidney has no function. We can try dialysis. But he also has pneumonia, so we need to go in and wash his lungs. So all of this is going on, and I'm a wreck because I go and you know, you get married to be with someone forever.
Right.
And I already know that he has an illness. I understand that. They're like, okay, he's not going to be past 20. Then they're like, okay, well, he has sickle cell. He made it past 20. That's great. His life expectancy is 70. Like, so they're like, okay, well, prepare to know, like, he is not going to be here after 70 years old. And I'm like, as a young person married, you're like, oh my gosh, like, what? Like, let me cherish all the time that we have together. But we also in hospital every 3 months. Yeah. We're also in the hospital every 6 months. So when he was sitting in that hospital bed and we're in ICU, and, you know, they're like, oh, also we have to give him insulin because he's a diabetic, his sugar's high.
Yeah.
So it was just piling on and piling on and piling on and piling on. And I'm calling my prayer warriors and I'm crying and I'm emotional and I'm fussing at him because at the point when caring for somebody that has an illness, it's also you know, you have to go through that too.
Yeah.
And so as a caretaker, I'm thinking about our life together, and for a split second, I get mad. I'm like, come on, what are you doing? You promised me this. You told me we were gonna be together forever. Yeah. And now you talking about you giving up, and you're not. You know what I mean? So I think it was a lot. It's a lot to deal with, and it's very emotional. But we try, like, and we pray to God that, you know, that like He has the final say. But that was really a very, very trying time for us because usually, I mean, I'm used a week. We'll be here for a couple of days, then we'll be gone. We'll be 3 days. Okay, we'll be gone. Oh. But this one.
So you mean like in the hospital when you have a hospital stay?
Yes.
Usually for a couple of
days, a week at the most. I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, give him some fluids, you know, hydrate him, you know, we'll observe him. Okay, he's doing a little bit better. Then we'll go home. Okay, we'll go home. I'll go home with him. I'll give him some medication. I will, you know, take care of him, do a lot of home care. Yeah. And then, you know, eventually he'll bounce back. Mm-hmm. This time was like
16 days.
Oh, we're going to ICU. Oh, like he's not breathing. Oh, they're coming out to me from surgery saying, okay, we're gonna rush him upstairs because like he's on his deathbed. We can't stop the bleeding. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. It'll just take about 30 minutes. You know, we're going to go in there, remove the spleen, but not knowing sickle cell, like you're moving and doing things and opening him up. Like we have to get consent for him to go, you know, teeth cleaning from his hematologist. Yeah. Because if you prick him, he's going to bleed and bleed and bleed and bleed.
When did you know that you had to take off the hat of being a support to your husband and being an advocate for your husband and fighting for his life in that hospital?
When they said, we're going to give him an iron infusion. We're going to just pump him up with a bunch of iron. And previously, I've dealt with iron. I'm like, iron is, no, we're not doing iron. We can't do iron. Let's just give him blood because your blood has iron in it. So they're like, no, he doesn't need blood. We're just going to pump him up with a lot of levels of iron. And I was like, no, you're not listening to me. We've already done the iron thing before. I've been with him for quite a while. We've done iron. It doesn't work. We need to try. And they're like, no, ma'am, you know, you don't have a degree in medicine. You don't, you know.
They told you that?
Yeah, you don't have a degree in medicine.
Oh, wow.
You don't know. Oh, and I'm like, okay, so all the years, like, and you know,
I got a degree in him.
yes, and so like, I know him. I've been with him for X amount of, like, I understand what works for him. He's not your typical patient. Like and they were like, no. So I took it upon myself at that point. It was like, okay, they're not listening to me. And if anyone ever is in a hospital, I always ask for a patient advocate. Like, I don't even care if we're in there for a hiccup. One day, 24, when we go to the emergency room, I want to talk to a patient advocate, because you're supposed to advocate for the patient. Like, the hospital, I understand it's a system and it has, you know, the way it functions and works, but I need someone there to support me. A nurse told me, and I remember to this day, she said they can go home to their loved ones.
Right.
But if you don't advocate for him, he won't be here. And that stuck with me. She was like, because I'm going to go home. Our shift going to end, and they're going to pass you off to someone else. But if he's not here, where are you going to get passed on to?
That's good.
And I was like, and it was mind-blowing and eye-opening for me, because when we first started this, I was just like, sure, you're the doctor, whatever you say. I trust you.
And it was my mama up there. It was my mama.
And his mom would be like, no, they don't know. Like, they don't know him. You need to learn him, and you need to know, like, hey, because I start noticing now, like, you start noticing, like, things like he'll start shaking. I'm like, okay, you shaking.
What's happening?
What's wrong? You know, or he'd be like, I'm good. But okay, his shoulders is jumping. What's wrong? You know, so those little things, I'm like, as we've gone together and been together, you just pick up and know, and you just have to say, like, I know him.
Yeah.
And so I don't, and I mean, again, like I told the doctors, you're gonna have to do what you have to do, but I'm gonna have to do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Prick him once, okay. Prick him twice, okay, you don't know what you're doing. Go find somebody else.
Definitely can't be timid.
Yes.
You gotta be able to
that's what I've kind of learned, like,
you can't be
just
timid.
not being like, okay, well, let them do what they need to do.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, you done poked him 3 times, man. You ain't getting it. I need you to go find your supervisor, whoever you think the guru of IVs, and then
the guru of IVs.
You go poke him. Because, and that's the thing, like, he has to have immediate fluid. So they're like, let's do an IV.
Yeah.
You got 2 times.
You got 2 times, and you out.
Like, I need someone that's gonna get it for him to have relief.
So, with the challenges that come with the health issues, what is something that you would say was a positive impact? Like, you guys going through this challenge and this journey together, what has been something that you can say that, as far as your relationship, that you can say was a positive outcome, or that has helped you to grow?
Just understand it, like, we have better communication now. Because we're like, hey, you're not going to do nothing to me. Or like when she had with Casey, you know, it was.
And Casey is
the third baby.
Your daughter, okay. Let the people know. They gonna be like, who is
She had to have a emergency C-section with her too, because she had preeclampsia. And they was like, oh, we gotta put her down. We gotta give her. I'm like, you ain't gotta
put her down.
Yeah,
what you
basically
mean?
put her asleep. I'm
sorry. Okay.
I'm sorry. We not put her down, but put her asleep. And it was like, because her blood pressure was high. She was at like 200. She had a high blood pressure, so they was like, we gotta put her to sleep, because we gotta, you know, it's an emergency. She's fighting for her life right now. And I'm like, man, I just seen my wife walk in here. What you mean she fighting for her life now? And I said, you know, kind of hood came out of me. What y'all do to her, man? Like, I was trying to stay professional, but I was like, man, what y'all do to my wife? Because she walked in here.
Yeah, and she gonna walk out. Yeah, I'll be in a wheelchair.
And so it was like, oh, Miss Jones, you could come. That's the only child I didn't see born, because they had, like I said, they had to operate.
Oh, okay.
And so when they finally heard her crying, I'm like, okay, she good. But then I'm like, how my wife? And so they finally bring her in. I'm like, okay, she waking up. She's all right. So it's to the point where in a marriage you gotta. This is 100. This ain't 75.
Come on. Okay.
Because one day I might be off one day and she be home.
That part.
One day she might not be on, I'm on.
Yeah.
So it's to a point where now, when we go to these doctor visits, I'm not taking that. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. I'm telling you, she telling you what I need, you need to listen to her.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what she needs, you need to listen to me.
Yeah.
And so it's the communication, I think, because at first, we was young. It was like, oh, that's what the doctor said, And then when we start learning each other through the years, it's like, nah, you ain't finna do that to her.
Yeah.
Nah, you're not finna do that to them.
Right. And I love that you said that, because I say that to my clients all the time. And I'm like, coming from an educational background, 50% is failing.
Yeah.
So don't bring your little failing tail. Like, I don't want 50.
Yeah.
I want 100.
So, because that's just not gonna work. That's just not happening. I'm like, so when my clients come and they talk about 50-50, I'm like, 50-50 what?
Yeah.
50-50 of the Snicker bar or the Kit Kat, but not in this relationship. Like, I'm gonna need you to bring all of you. I'm gonna bring all of me, because guess what? Like you guys were just saying, like, there are gonna be times in your relationship to where one person is going to have to hold the other person up. Yeah. And if I just got 50% and I'm weak, I'm not gonna be able to hold you up. I'm not gonna be able to do it. So if I'm bringing all of me, and then there's a time when you're at 75 or when you're at 50, then guess what, babe? I got you. I got you because I'm 100 or more. Yeah. But that 50, don't be bringing 50 into the relationship. I
I'm gonna bring your fella behind over here. I'm gonna bring your fella behind.
Exactly.
Feeling.
Well, I thank you guys for sharing your story. Guys, I appreciate you sharing your story.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. Please support us by hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and sharing this episode. Comment below.